Hello Stampers, and welcome to Laura's Stamp Pad. Today I just wanted to show you how I created this fabulous card using the wood crate framelits, which are these here. You can see that there's this fabulous wood crate that makes a box, a little tag, and then some coordinating images that go with the wood words stamp set. So the wood words stamp set is this one here. You can see all those images up there. I did use the Hello Friend, which was one of these fabulous greetings. These fit in all of those little tags, and then I used that fabulous little farmer's market for my wood crate there. So if you were following me on Tuesday, I posted this fabulous little creation, which is the wood crate. So I did this little guy here and have the matching little wood crate with the leftover designer series paper. So now I've done this little wood crate, and I'm gonna do the dark version of the little wood card like this one today. So I'll leave a link down below to that video, so definitely check that one out so that you can get the most out of your designer series paper. The designer series paper is a 6x6 piece, so that is this here, and whenever I cut out the wood crate for the actual wood crate box, then you need to create two of them. So I have my wood crate that I die cut here, and you have all of this extra piece that you can use. So what I did is I die cut another wood crate, but it just didn't have all of that bottom piece. So whenever I did that, then I got this piece here. So you can see how it's missing part of the bottom down there, but it still has that side tab and this little side over here. So to create this card here, I used this piece. So let's bring in our piece that we're going to layer everything onto. This is a piece of Whisper White, and it measures 3 3/4 by 5. So I just wanted to show a couple things. First, we're going to cut off this little tab down here. So I cut that off there. We are also going to cut off, you can see how this piece actually bumps out a little bit extra, so I'm just going to fold that back and trim off that little extra piece because we don't really need that popping up over our box. So another tip is when you fold all these little pieces back, you can see that there's actually a little bit of white peeking through up here. So you can see that white right there? So I just used a little bit more from the designer series paper that was little leftover pieces, and I just used this piece here and cut that off and added that to the back there. So I will show you. I just, I use scissors, nothing too fancy or anything, but that's going to go right there to make it look like our crate goes all the way through and you can't actually see the back of that white cardstock. So before we actually stick our crate on, this piece needs to be a little bit smaller. So it's actually going to go back like that. So you can see it covers up back there, and then this is going to pop forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some adhesive to this little strip here and fold that forward. And so it almost creates like a little pouch, but that's okay. And I need to cut off just a little bit more there to make sure that it's not peeking out of the top. So now that we have that little pouch looking thing, then that is what we will use as our actual crate. And I'm going to use my bone folder. It seems to be popping up just a little bit more than I want it to. So I'm using my bone folder just to fold on those creases to secure that down. But before we actually do our crate on our project, there's a few things that I want to show you. One of the things is stamping that farmer's market greeting. So when we go to stamp that farmer's market greeting, I don't actually want it to peek through and touch and have the ink touch the back of my crate. So I'm just gonna slide in this piece of scrap paper here and stamp it. Now on this one that I'm doing today, you might not really notice it very much if it popped through, but on the lighter version, I think you really would notice. Whenever I stamped, I really didn't find that a lot of it showed up on my designer paper, on my scrap paper, but I really didn't want to take that chance either. So now that we have our crate ready, we're gonna set that aside and we're going to work on that fabulous flower arrangement. So for that, I actually used crushed curry and old olive, and I'm just going to turn this around. I guess I really didn't need to, and see the placement of my crate. And then now I'm just going to add my little scrap piece there and pull the crate out. So now I know that my flowers need to be right in that area, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp them. I used the Daisy Delight stamp set, so that is this stamp set here, and I used the 2 daisy images there and the greenery image all down there. So this is a 2-step stamping image. So first I'm actually going to stamp all of my daisies, and those are going to be in solid, full strength crushed curry ink. So I'm just going to stamp them around, just kind of filling in. So now I have all my daisies, and now it's time to stamp this 2-step image. So the solid image I'm actually going to stamp off. And it's actually a little bit bigger than that daisy image, so it makes it really easy for lining up. So I'm just going to stamp off, and then right over our daisy. So now we have all of our daisy images, and now it's time to do all of the stems. So I have my old olive ink, and I'm just going to take that stem. It's quite long, so I'm using a smaller block, and I'm just going to wrap around the rest of that image because I don't really need that whole image for every single image or every single flower that I stamp. So I'm just going to ink it up and stamp it down. And some of them I want a little bit more leaf and a little less of the greenery image. So let's just go ahead and rip off some of this and ink up our leaf. And I'm just going to cover up some of that flower and stamp this down. Just like that. So now we have some of that leaf in there and not all of the top. You can also omit it by not inking it up all the way and making sure it's nice and clean. That's another great tip to do as well. And there, now we have all of our flowers all lined up, and we're just going to bring in our little crate, and you can see how that just lines up right there oh so perfectly. So now I'm just going to use some snail adhesive to add our crate to our card. And there you have that fabulous crate full of flowers. So next up, I took a little scrap piece of crushed curry and Whisper White and stamped the little greeting, and I realized I stamped these going the opposite direction as my sample, so I'm just going to put them on the opposite side. No problem there. So now that I've laid those down, I'm just going to trim off the excess here. And then I used some of the Night of Navy gingham ribbon, which is super, super fabulous. I'm going to tie it into a bow and secure it on with some mini glue dots. This ribbon is just absolutely precious. This ribbon is also in my ribbon share, which I will leave a link down below for you to check that out. It's a great way to sample out lots of different kinds of ribbons without having to buy the full spool of all of them. So it's a nice little sampling to be able to enjoy different styles. Okay, now that we have our bow all ready to go with those mini glue dots, I'm just going to press those down and trim off our little tails. And then I'm going to layer this onto a piece of Night of Navy, and the Night of Navy measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and I'm using just regular snail adhesive. And then I added Stampin Dimensionals to the back of this to give it some dimension before adding it to our card base. So here's our card base, and that just gives a little bit of oomph to it. Isn't that a fabulous way to create a super cute card using the wood crate framelits and using up the rest of that designer series paper from creating the little box? So there's that little box, and then here's the little lighter colored box that I did that you can see there. Super, super fabulous. I love being able to use up all of my designer series paper with no scraps left behind. I also like being able to create a card with one of the 3D framelits because I'm not so sure how many of these cute little boxes I'll need unless I'm having a party or something like that, or a hostess gift, but I can super make these cards and love them. I'll be posting pictures of these on my blog, laurastamppad.com, so don't forget to check those out. Again, I'll leave a link down below for you to be able to check out the box crate tutorial that I did on Tuesday. So don't forget about that. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all next time. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.